I'm Gary Lyon, and this is the 2015 wash-up for the Eagles. And it was a season that took many by surprise. Coming off of 2014, where they missed the finals, this team had a stunning revival to just fall over at the final hurdle. Damien Barrett.
Well, they actually crashed within they guys, and in the end, when the result came the way it did in the grand final, they fell down face first. And it's going to be a very long pre-season for 2016 for a number of Eagles and some big names too.
It's a searching examination, a grand final, isn't it? And it can change pretty quickly how you perceive the year has been. But it has been a massive success. You can't have a look at it any other way. And my highlight for the West Coast Eagles, their ability to cover for their key defenders who went down. They kept losing them. McKenzie and Brown to ACLs, and Beau Waters, of course, it never really got going. And they didn't miss a beat in the end. The Wellingham, Shepherd, and then the skipper Hearn was always going to be a pivotal part of it. But McGovern went down back into the back half and became a really important player. So they didn't miss a beat. Schofield was solid right up until the end. So I think that's a fair effort.
Is it sustainable, given it broke down in the grand final?
No, I don't think it is, the way that they defend, but they're going to welcome back McKenzie and Brown, you'd think, which is going to free up. And that becomes a bit more of a conventional setup with some freewheeling creative types around them.
I've gone for some glitz and glamour in my highlight, Gaz, particularly Nick Naitanui two cracks at Mark of the Year. This was the one that was given Mark of the Year, and when you consider that Mark Blicavs, who's nearly 6'12", whatever it is the man that he's standing over here. That's a very big jump.
A serious jump. This is from a bloke who hasn't made an art of marking the footy, to be honest. That's not having a crack, but he doesn't. And then he's been able to take two great hangers. Their highlights, and there were plenty of them for the Eagles. The lowlights came thick and fast. Ultimately, the biggest lowlight was grand final day, without having to fire a big shot. But before that, I thought the round 3, first opening quarter against Freo in the local derby, they conceded 9 goals to 4 behinds. And I reckon at that time, if you're a West Coast Eagles supporter, and this was back in round 3, the grand final appearance was a long way away. They got embarrassed and humiliated in that quarter of footy. They were down by 52 points, but they've gathered themselves beautifully.
They almost used the second half of that game to regroup, didn't they? Milo, I like Chris Marston late in the season, round 20 against the Dockers, Gaz, bit Nick Subin on the ground here. And you'll hear the audio again of this incident where Nick Subin doesn't take kindly.
Okay, no worries. I'll put in an investigation. Thank you.
It was investigated. He got 2 weeks. He was probably fortunate it was only 2 weeks because while, you know, your personal space is invaded and people react in different ways, but you can't bite, Gaz.
You don't want to chomp him.
You can't bite.
You just don't get chomped on at any stage, Damo, that is for sure. Christmas bonus time. Well, I had a nice healthy one for Elliot Yeo, but I've just taken half of it away.
Have you?
Yep. Sorry about that, Yoey.
Fair enough.
Grand final performance didn't get the job done, but his performance through the course of the season proper, I thought was exceptional. And he was recruited from Brisbane, of course. I think they understood how much talent he's got. Always hear Adam Simpson, who's a very understated coach, say, we've got some real superstar players who want to play with flair. And I reckon he's always talking about this bloke. And you don't want to harness it too much. You want to let him do these sorts of things. But he just didn't get it done on the weekend. Jeremy McGovern is my Christmas bonus too. Same bracket too, guys. Just didn't get it done on the weekend. So I'm taking half his bonus away as well. But having said that, up until basically the grand final week, you could have given this guy close to 10 out of 10, I would have thought. Given he held up and went into the season with only 13 games to his name and came out of it as a potential, superstar. I must admit, Damo, he's a pure footballer, no question about that, and he's played in a defence that allowed him to do these sorts of things, that is read the ball in flight and get across and pick him off. I'd like to see his body shape change. I have to be perfectly honest about that.
So big pre-season?
I think a big pre-season.
And a mindset change too, Gaz, as well, or in terms of how he plays the game?
Well, no. He's playing to the coach's instructions, so I haven't got an issue with that. But
does he go forward?
He might, very well. I mean, he kicked junk goals late in the grand final, but he's a super talented player. I just want to see him harden up a little bit.
OK, who's on the chopping block?
Well, not too many, you wouldn't think. There it is. Patrick McGeady, I've put down. I mean, he's been in and around the mark for 3 or 4 years, and he's in the side, out of the side. Looks to be player number 22 to 26. He might just say, no, I want to be player number 15 in another side.
OK. I'm going with the big men, only because there's demand for them, and one of them is going to miss out. Scott Lysette was the man who missed out this year, given that Sinclair emerged. But Clubs are coming for both of them, guys. I believe they're both contracted, certainly like set for a long-term deal. But if he doesn't come out, Sinclair will. It's almost certain that one of them will seek opportunities elsewhere.
Can't carry three. I mean, Nick Nat, Sinclair and Lysette, you're only ever going to play two of them. So one of them's got to look for opportunity elsewhere.
Yeah, and Sinclair had, like many of his teammates, a poor grand final.
Well, they need to improve to go the next step. What sort of player are they after? I think they need some support still in the back half. McKenzie and Brown coming back from ACLs. There'd be some doubt about that and how they come back. And Brown, of course, has had repeated injuries. So I think they need to stiffen up their defence, in particular in the key defensive posts.
There's so many things that they need. A good pre-season out of a lot of people, but particularly Nick Nat-Nui. We saw the benefits of him finally getting a pre-season, guys. He hadn't had one for 4 or 5 years in a good, meaningful sense. He got one in 2015 and emerged as a superstar.
Need to keep him sound, I agree with that. All right, our 2016 prediction for the runners-up in this year's grand final. Up, down or stagnate, Damo?
I've got them stagnating, guys, but in saying that, I do expect them to finish top 4. Whether it's another grand final, I don't know, but top 4 in my eyes.
I'm with you 100%. The fact that they're at home almost unbeatable is going to enable them to contend again, and then what happens over the next 6 months might determine whether they go the next step. Very nicely done, Damo. That is the wash-up for the West Coast Eagles in 2015.
New Gurney Power Grip. Available at Bunnings Warehouse.